Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my channel if you are new. Today's video is going to be something a little bit different. I've got my cup of tea because I'm literally just going to sit here, chat to you about my Couch to 5K experience, which I have briefly spoken about in vlogs. I really wanted to do a video kind of rounding up my experience and all of my tips and tricks, how I found it. This is coming from someone who couldn't even run a minute without getting out of breath. So I just want to start the video by saying that I genuinely was a complete beginner. Like, I've watched some of these videos, people jumped in at like week 5, week 6, like they were kind of already at a stage where they could run longer distances. Like, I genuinely, I can't explain how bad of a runner I was, but I used to be that girl in PE that would have to sit out of cross country. Like, I would hide in the toilets because that's how bad I was at running. I couldn't hack it. It was embarrassing. I was like, this isn't for me. I've never been the best at kind of like stamina or like that kind of exercise. Like, it's just never been my forte. But I have now graduated Couch to 5K and I can now run a 5K, which honestly is crazy to say, but I'm gonna go into everything that helped me, all of my tips, how I found all of the different weeks, just all of the little details. So if you are currently on Couch to 5K or you're looking at starting it, then definitely carry on watching because I'm gonna give you all of the tips that I wish that I had when I started. I'm actually gonna put my tea down because it is boiling hot. Okay, I've written a whole list of things that I want to talk about because there's a lot. First topic I'm going to talk about is why I started and when I started. So I woke up in 2024, literally on New Year's Day. And for some reason I decided that this was going to be the year that I wanted to take back control of my health, my fitness. If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know that I used to do a lot of fitness and kind of health related videos. I think when you are living in kind of everyday busy life, you're working full time, it's really hard to find the time to prioritize your health and fitness, and it just wasn't something that was a priority for me last year. But this year something just clicked in me, and it sounds so frustrating, but I do feel like when you are ready, something just clicks in your mind and you decide that, you know, this is going to be the time that you're actually going to start something and stick to it. Because it's one thing starting something like Couch to 5K, but it's another thing actually completing it and seeing it through. This isn't my first time trying Couch to 5K. I first tried Couch to 5K about 3 years ago. I was living in Birmingham. I went on the first run, which if you've done the first run, you'll know it's like 2 minutes of walking and then 60 seconds of running or something like that. And let's just say that run was enough to put me off. So I never did another one. I literally stopped my running career then and there. But this year I just decided that I wanted a new challenge. I went for a run last October, which I did a 5K, which wasn't actually a 5K because I ran some of it, then walked some of it, then ran some of it, then walked some of it. I think it took me like 45 minutes in total to complete. And that was last October. And again, that kind of put me off doing it. But this year I was like, you know what? It's the year for running. And I think it helps when you have so many like influencers and fitness people around you doing it, because I would just see people running all the time. And I think I live in an area where running is just such a common thing. I mean, I live right by the Thames. There's this beautiful Thames path that I can run on. If I ever went for a walk there, I would just see runners, and it just made me want to do it. Like, something just clicked in me where I was like, I want to be able to run a 5K without stopping. So I officially started Couch to 5K in February and I only graduated in May. So it's a 14-week program. So if you can do the math, that means that it took me longer than 14 weeks to complete, which I will get into. Okay, second thing I wanted to talk about, how I found the motivation to start. So I kind of touched on this, but my main motivation was, honestly, I felt so unhealthy in myself. My stamina was at an all-time low. Like, I would walk to the tube, which would take me maybe like 20 minutes from where I live, and I am quite a fast walker, and I would just find myself getting out of breath so easily. Like, it was really like just not okay with me. Like, I've always been a fairly healthy person, and that just kind of made me take a step back. And I think when I moved to London, I was going out a lot, I was eating a lot. It was quite hard for me to get into like a healthy pattern with my eating habits and my fitness. My weight has fluctuated so much over the years, like I can't even explain to you. Like, it just fluctuates, and that's completely normal. But I was at a weight that I just wasn't happy with. I was probably at my heaviest, I think, and I just wanted to change that. And obviously cardio is one of the best things you can do for weight loss because it burns calories. And so I decided to give it a go, basically. As well as starting running, I did also sign up to a gym, and I've been doing Pilates for the last 2 years, but Pilates isn't really cardio. I mean, it can be, but it doesn't really get your heart rate up like running does. It's more like core strength, it's flexibility, kind of an all-over body workout, really. I think Pilates is amazing to do alongside running because it kind of helps stretch you out, but also helps with strength training and things like that. So I use the gym for Pilates, and then running is kind of like a separate thing that I do. But yeah, the main motivation I think was that I really wanted to see a change in myself. I wasn't happy with the way that I looked. I wasn't happy with just the way I felt in myself, but also like it's just a year of running. Like I don't know if anyone else has noticed this, but everyone is running. And yeah, I think that really motivated me. Some of my favorite people that I follow that run are Misha Grimes, Holly Brooks, and then I also recently found Anya Culling, who I think is such a great inspiration for anyone looking to get into fitness, because she started running in lockdown and she's now like a legitimate athlete. Like she's amazing. She runs a marathon in like 2 hours 30 minutes. Like she's incredible. So yeah, if anyone is looking for the motivation to start, I feel like finding those kind of like fitness influencers that inspire you are a really great place to start. And sometimes you just stumble upon them by accident. Like for me, I kind of just stumbled upon Holly Brooks's videos on TikTok because she did a lot of like healthy eating stuff, and I've always kind of been into that anyway. And then she started running, and yeah, I just kind of fell into it, I suppose. So yeah, surround yourself with those kind of people on TikTok and Instagram, and then I feel like you'll just find the motivation. Okay, third topic is what kit I had. Now, this is such an important one because I think when I started Couch to 5K, I very much was like, oh, do I need to buy new running shoes? Do I need to get like new outfits? Like, what do I need to get? And a lot of the fitness influencers that I was watching had running vests, you know, Solomon running vests, which are pretty pricey. They had New Balance shoes. They had these really expensive running shoes. I just want to say right now, you do not need any of that stuff to start running. You don't. I do not use a running vest. I don't use a running belt. I don't think you need it for a 5K. If you want to take water with you, I feel like you can just fill up like a little water bottle and run with that. But honestly, you don't really need it. I had to do a lot of Googling when I started because I was confused. I was like, do you need to take water with you? But for a 5K, you really don't need water. If you want to take it, obviously you can. But don't feel like you need to run out there and buy a running vest. Like I still don't own a running vest and I'm training for a half marathon. Really, it's something that I'm now considering buying. But when I started Couch to 5K, it didn't even really cross my mind. So in terms of trainers, I was actually really lucky that I already owned a pair of running shoes, which my dad bought me maybe like 10 years ago when I was like 15, 16, for when I started the gym with him. And I remember at the time seeing that these were running shoes and I was like, well, I don't run, so I don't need them, but Nike has always been comfy for me, so I got them and they are so comfy. But now they actually come in handy because they are actually running shoes. Like I say, these are like 10 years old, so they are pretty worn down. Also, when I bought these, because I wasn't using them for running, I didn't look at things like whether they were for tracks, whether they were for roads, because there are so many different types of running trainers. It's honestly a little bit overwhelming. So yeah, I literally just started in these, which are fine. One thing I will say is that you should not run in like Converse, Vans, anything like that. Like if you don't own any kind of like workout trainers, you probably will need to get some, but you can get some really affordable ones. Like you don't need to get these branded ones that are really expensive. You can actually go to running shops and get a running gait done where they basically watch you run on a treadmill for like 20 seconds, and then from that they can see where your feet land and what kind of shoes you need, because some people run in different ways. They can cause different injuries depending on how they run. So there's honestly so many different shoes. It's so confusing, but I have just ordered the New Balance Rebel V4 shoes because they're a perfect like everyday shoe. They've got a really thick kind of foam bottom, and like I said with my Nike ones, I feel like these just don't have, like this is thick, but I think because they're old, they're kind of worn down. So I just feel like I land quite heavy on my feet, so I just wanted something with a bit more foam. But yeah, the New Balance ones, they're £140, so they're definitely not cheap. But like I said, I'm training for a half marathon, so I really wanted to invest in some good shoes that are going to be durable. But if you are, you know, just starting with a 5k, you really don't need to go out and spend loads of money on a really, really expensive pair of shoes. In terms of clothes, I think the best things that I invested in were shorts, running shorts from Vinted. I genuinely have got 4 pairs of running shorts, one Adidas, one Puma, 2, I can't remember the brand of the other 2, but they are so comfy, so easy to run in. I much prefer running in shorts to leggings because they're just, I just feel like more free in them, and I think it's just easier to run in. You don't get as hot. It's very much a personal choice, but I prefer running in shorts. I got like 4 pairs of shorts on Vinted for genuinely like £6. Like, you do not need to go out there and buy like a pair of £30 shorts. Please look on Vinted at all the running stuff because it's crazy. I also got this kind of like long sleeved jacket with like thumb holes, which I use if it's like colder or rainy. That's really useful as well and really lightweight, and again I paid like £3 on Vinted for that. So you really don't need to spend like a fortune. I needed a tea break. Even if you're looking at getting something like a running vest, you can even look on Vinted for things like that. But yeah, shorts were like the best investment. That was pretty much the only thing that I bought, and I bought that like 3 weeks into the plan because I just realized I didn't like wearing like workout leggings to run in because I just didn't feel very like free. Okay, 4th topic, and probably the most important. How did I find it? How did I find it? Hard. I'm not gonna like sit here and be like it was so easy. It wasn't. I genuinely, like I said at the beginning, was a complete beginner. Like, I had no running experience, no running training, didn't even have any friends or like family members that ran, so I kind of had to learn everything myself. Couch to 5k is genuinely such an amazing app, and I think it's amazing that it's free because it really just motivates you. I had Jo Wiley as my trainer, and I really recommend her audio. I thought that she explained things really well and she was really motivating, but also they don't speak to you too much, so like you can still listen to your music. It's just really useful to have an app like that to guide you, because like I said, when I ran in October, I genuinely thought, oh, 5k, I can just run that. No. You can't run it. You can't. If you have never ran before and you can run a 5k straight off the bat, that's pretty impressive, because I can't tell you how hard it was. Like, it was tough. I was red, sweaty, like it was a lot. So in terms of the runs, I managed every single run apart from one, and I think that was on like week 8, where it was one of like the 25-minute runs, and I was running. It was actually during one of like the really hottest days we've had in London so far. I think it was like 25 degrees, so the sun was blaring down on me. It was a Saturday, so it was quite busy. I just got a stitch halfway through and I just couldn't get rid of it, so I had to stop and walk, and that's the only run that I had to redo. All of the others I managed, and I just think you have to really push yourself through them, because you can do them. It's just that mentally your brain will tell you like, you don't run, like you don't know how to run, you're not going to be able to do this. So you have to kind of push past that and be like, no, I can do this. You have to kind of override your brain a bit. And Holly Brooks, who I mentioned earlier, she describes it as kind of a you versus you battle, and it really is. Like, it's your mind against your actual physical body. You just have to trust your body that you can do these runs. One thing I will say is that I had no idea about pace or anything like that, and I used to think when people said running, they meant running, like fast running. Really, they should call it jogging, because it's really not about how fast you go, and they explain this to you on Couch to 5k. It's not about how fast, it's about just running and getting through it, basically. So I think my pace is around 6:25 at the moment for a 5k. It's really not about how fast you go in the beginning, it's just about building up your stamina, and everybody's body is different, so everyone can go different speeds. Oh, also, it did take me longer than 9 weeks, like I said at the beginning. So you're supposed to do 3 runs a week, and I think I was averaging 2 runs a week, because I was honestly just struggling to find the time to fit in 3 runs. But if you can, please do the 3 runs a week, because I do feel like when you don't do the 3 runs and you spread them out, it does kind of slow the progress. Like for me, I could have been further than I am now if I had have just done the 3 runs in the week. So yeah, it did take me a little bit longer, but I got there in the end. I didn't actually repeat. I think I repeated maybe 1 run, but every other run I was able to do. So yeah, I didn't do it week by week, I just did it run by run, if that makes sense. So like if I didn't run for like 4 days, I would just go on to the next run. But really, you should probably repeat the run before, but it's just how I personally did it and it worked for me. So okay, next topic. What next? Okay, so I actually have a half marathon coming up in October that I am booked on for. I'm actually doing it as press because if you don't know, I'm a journalist. So I'm covering the event as press, but I am actually going to run it, which is 20 kilometers. Am I scared? Yes, because I still struggle with 5Ks. Like 5Ks for me at the moment are still a push. Like I still have to really dig deep in those last like 10 minutes and battle with my head and just try and get through it. So I am really nervous, but I'm using the Nike Run Club training plan, 14-week training plan, which you can actually start as a beginner, but I would not recommend doing that because the first run was like 25 minutes. And I don't think a beginner can run 25 minutes. I mean, I personally know that I would have literally died. So yeah, I would definitely start with Couch to 5K, then move on to another training plan if that's what you want to do, or if you just want to stick at 5Ks, that's also fine. It really depends on like how far you want to push yourself. Okay, next topic and final topic, tips, tricks, everything that I've learned. So I feel like this is probably the main topic that people want to know about. So number 1, find a running route that you love. There's a big debate about treadmills and running outside, and personally, people might not like me saying this, I would recommend starting outside because a treadmill, it is different on a treadmill. A 5K on a treadmill feels very different to a 5K outside. And if your end goal is kind of running in a half marathon or a marathon, you're going to want to practice outside because obviously they are done outside. And a treadmill just doesn't take things into consideration like inclines or different surfaces. And personally, I just think it's so much better for your mental health to be outside and like get the air. But also I just get so bored on a treadmill. Like running for like 30 minutes on a treadmill it's not fun. Obviously some people just aren't comfortable or confident enough to do that, and that's completely fair enough. But the only thing I can recommend is finding a really quiet time during the day that you can go when not a lot of people are out, and just find a running route that's a little bit quieter if you are nervous. I personally run, like I said, on the Thames path, which is just beautiful, and I've got like a really nice loop that I can do that goes kind of over the bridges. And yeah, I mean, to start with, I started just by the Thames path where there's no like cars or anything like that, and it's fairly quiet during the day. But now I'm comfortable enough running on roads. So yeah, find a path that you love, and that will 100% motivate you to actually get outside, and also change it up. Like find different routes as well. Okay, number 2, track your runs. Now, I personally have an Apple Watch. This is the Apple Watch SE. This is what I use to track my runs. So I have Nike Run Club, which is like automatically installed on this. But then I also use Strava, which kind of maps your actual route as well. And I like to do both of them because they both give slightly different results, so I can kind of take an average from both of them. But again, you do not need an Apple Watch or a Fitbit or a Garmin or any kind of smartwatch to track your runs. You can literally just take your phone and you can download Strava. Strava can just use data from your phone. Obviously it won't have things like heart rate, but honestly I never look at that anyway. So yeah, just find a way to track your runs, but you really don't need to get a smartwatch. But if you want to invest in one, the Apple Watch SE I do really like. I think it's not necessarily a fitness watch as such, it's kind of more of like a lifestyle-y watch, but I think it's really pretty, and it's also really handy just to have when you're running in case anyone like messages you, and you can literally just look and see what they're saying. Okay, number 3, playlists. Playlists are so important. Can I just tell you my favorite running song? Anything Sabrina Carpenter gets me running faster. Like, it just perfect. Espresso, when Espresso comes on, there is no stopping me. I'm like Usain Bolt running down that street. I also listen to a lot of Disney songs, so songs from like Hannah Montana, love. I know some people like to run to podcasts, which I get the concept, because if you're listening to like a podcast in your head, you're kind of having to focus on that, and therefore you're focusing less on the fact that you're running this distance. I personally prefer music, but when I start running like 2 hours, we'll recheck in then. Okay, number 4, and this is a very important one. Please realize that no one cares that you are running. And what I mean by this is when you're limiting yourself by not wanting to run outside because you're scared that people are going to look at you, you're scared people are going to make comments at you. I can 99% reassure you, no one is even focusing on you. Like, honestly, no one is. I had to get over that mental barrier in my head as well. But once you're over it, you're over it. And now, like, I don't even care. I think I've had maybe like one person make a comment to me, and it's been like a group of boys. But I just have my headphones in. So even if anyone is making a comment, I don't really hear what anyone's saying. But there are so many people running these days that it is so normal. No one cares. If anyone overtakes you, everyone's doing their own thing. Like, it's absolutely fine. Like, I know it's so nerve-wracking. Like, I'm not, honestly, I was terrified to run outside for the first time, but once you've done it once, you get better, and then when you've done it a second time, you get more confident, and a third time, and a fourth time, and as you go, I'm at a point I literally don't care. Like, I actually don't care. And it's a great feeling. It's very freeing. Okay, number 5, sunglasses. Sunglasses follow on well from point 4 actually. When I was feeling really nervous about running outside, just put on a huge pair of sunglasses. No one can even see who you are. No one can see you. That for some reason gave me a confidence. I mean, I love hiding behind my sunglasses anyway. Like, if I'm having a no makeup day, sunglasses. Yeah, I love wearing sunglasses on runs, even just because if it's windy or something, if something gets in your eye, it can really like put you off. You do not need those like really cool jazzy looking running glasses. You can just use whatever sunglasses you own. It's absolutely fine. It's fine. Okay, number 6, follow a plan. If you are doing Couch 5K, you are already following a plan, but please don't think you can just go into running by running. If that makes sense. Some people can just kind of, if someone like does sports or they're already a bit active, then I'm sure someone could just kind of pick up running. But I really think having a plan shows you your progress, but also just guides you. Like, sometimes you don't know what kind of running you have to do. My current training plan with Nike Run Club, which is free by the way, they're now introducing me to things like interval training, which I had no idea what that was, and there's always like some sort of new challenge, but coming up with that yourself is really hard. So just follow a plan. Honestly, you will thank yourself so much later. Number 7, stretch before and after. Okay, this becomes more important the further along the plan that you go, but I used to find that if I didn't stretch, the pain that I was in the next day was unbearable, especially for those first few long runs. So just do like a 5-minute stretch before you go. You can even do it outside. I prefer to do it inside. I do also always do the 5-minute warm-up that is on the app, and I would really recommend you do that as well, because it just kind of gets your heart rate up a little bit and eases your body into it. Like, if you just leave your house and run instantly, there's no kind of like preparation. So definitely do some sort of warm-up, some sort of cool down. It doesn't have to take a really long time. There's so many like quick easy stretches you can find on TikTok. Yeah, definitely stretch. Please take it from me, because my run last October when I did a 5K, I was in agony for a week. Couldn't do Pilates for a week. My legs were like, they were done. I need a tea break. I feel like I should have worn like a brighter top than this, but never mind. Okay, number 8, don't skip runs. Like I said earlier, I would never skip a run. If I missed one during that week, I would just do it the next time I ran, if that makes sense. So say if I ran like Tuesday and Thursday, and then I missed the 3rd run of the week, I would just do it on the Monday or the Tuesday and then go on to the next week. It's done in a way that it prepares your body for those longer runs, and if you miss one of those runs, you are genuinely missing out on like crucial training elements. So don't skip a run, just stick at it. If you need to repeat a run as well, do that. So say if you do a run and you don't manage to finish it for whatever reason, just redo it. Redo that run before you move on to the next run, because otherwise you're never going to progress. Okay, and my final tip, which probably the most important, just do it. Just do it. Stop thinking about it, just do it. I see so many people, I'm part of these like Couch to 5K Facebook groups, which again I'd recommend joining because it's really interesting to see everyone's perspectives. But a lot of people on there kind of post that, you know, they started but they're too scared to continue, or they struggled with their first ride, it's put them off doing their second, or they're scared to even just start in general. The only piece of advice I can give you is to just start. Honestly, running has like changed my life for the better. Like, it sounds so dramatic, but I feel so much healthier. I've lost so much weight. I feel so much more in shape. Like, my calves and my thighs are growing muscles I didn't even know that they had. If I'm having like a stressful day, I now enjoy going for a run. I wake up sometimes and I'm excited to go for a run. And do you know how insane that is for me? Like, if you had told me that even at the start of the year, I would have been like, there is absolutely no way, because I was the worst runner in PE. I can't even tell you. Like, I was that girl in school that just would never be in like any kind of sports. Like, I would always be picked last on everyone's team. And I think that's kind of another reason I started, because I was like, you know what? I'm gonna prove all of you wrong that said I wasn't good at sport, and I'm gonna start running. And I think I could outrun a lot of them now, actually. So anyone from my old school watching, let's race. Actually, no, that's not. I'm definitely not at that point, but just do it. Just start. That's the end of my video. I hope that that was helpful for those thinking about starting Couch to 5K, or those currently on the plan that needed a little bit of motivation to keep going. If anyone has any questions at all, please drop a message in the comments, or even message me privately on Instagram if you don't want to publicly talk about it. I'm more than happy to help, because I'm honestly so passionate about it. I am going to be doing a lot more health and fitness related content in the coming weeks, so please do subscribe if you are new. Thank you so much to those of you who have stuck around. I know I've been very inconsistent, but I feel like this is a topic that actually motivates me to film, because I really am passionate about it and I enjoy it. So yeah, I'm so glad to have a hobby again. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.